It's so much. First, it is produced by a pharmaceutical company known as Laboratoires Quinton. It is the only thing they do, and they've done it since 1897. So it really is nothing more than seawater that is processed in a very unique way to make it safe. All the things that are living in the sea, little shrimp and so on, they are removed for this, okay? You're not getting a fish dinner out of this product.
Good. So people don't just go and drink seawater and think you're getting your electrolytes.
Right. It's more complicated.
Yes.
And then I can't tell you the quality control. They examine the organisms in it. They do tests. They make sure it doesn't have any toxin in it. It is the purest laboratory results of anything. Why is it? Because it's taken from a special place called the Plankton bloom. It's not just any ocean. This is taken from a plankton bloom, and a plankton bloom is a self-sterilizing or self-detoxing entity in the ocean. It consists of phytoplankton and zooplankton, and they interact and they purify the impurities for it. And
so what I'm saying is, people that needed blood transfusions when they ran out, they could actually use this.
Yes, and I will tell you that you all know the regulations in the United States, what can be and what can't be used. But in the rest, many places in the rest of the world, this is used by subcutaneous injection, by IV. Quinton is harvested from the Sea of Biscay. That is off, about partitioned halfway, like off the coast of France and halfway off the coast of Spain. Okay. And this is actually, even though it wasn't always taken from there, was René Quinton's favorite place to take it because it had the richest plankton blooms. Now, what is a plankton bloom? A plankton bloom is the most complex bioreactor on the planet. What does that mean? It means it has more chemistry, more life than anything on Earth. And it's a combination of phytoplankton, that's on the top of the water so it can receive sunlight. And it is also in harmony with zooplankton, that are the little animal versions of plankton that include things that krill, copepods and so on. And these are all microscopic. And what happens is that the zooplankton, there's a process that goes in here 24 hours a day, long before life existed on the planet, or after the sea life. And the zooplankton ascends and consumes as their food the phytoplankton, and then they descend. But probably one of the greatest features of it is that it naturally removes toxicity. Wow. The organism's presence removes the toxicity. It gets rid of things that don't support life. So this zone is protected by the international oceanographic community as the highest mission by the oceanographic community.
Wow.
Because that plankton bloom, the sum of the plankton blooms in the world also make 55% of the oxygen. And guess what you don't mess with? The oxygen, okay?
You know, what's interesting as you're saying this, like now I'm kind of going back into our conversation about the terrain, the ocean being the first primordial thing that gave life to life. And then the zooplankton is almost the first step in the chain of the food chain for life.
It was shortly after, even though it wasn't, there was no like chlorophyll yet for the phytoplankton.
Right.
And the zooplankton was a little too complex yet because we're just talking about microbe now. Okay? And it was like a 100,000th the size of a krill. Okay? So that was down the line, but it was early on for sure. But those organisms do create this incredible array of chemistry.
Well, let's go a step further, because this is one of the things that really, like, when I was told this by one of your team members, this really shocked me, and I think it's important for the viewers. So René Quinton conducted a scientific study where he took on, in order to, the threshold to make it into the science study was that you had to had 4 failed pregnancies, including miscarriages, ectopic pregnancies, stillbirths, all of that. And then all of them were treated by René Quinton with Quinton.
Yes. And during the prenatal period.
Correct. And then every single woman that was in the study thereafter had a natural, healthy birth.
Well, actually, of the 2,000 women, 98%
Wow.
had not just babies. You have to understand this study because it's mind-blowing, and you're going to be able to read it. Do you
Yeah, in
understand?
French.
Because the 2,000 women, 98% had not just babies that survived. We're talking perfect babies. And they even had a whole thing to what defines a perfect baby physiologically. Everything. The length of your forearm, the length of this, the neck relationship with your knee. And I mean, it's
So good.
complicated.
Guys, hold on. Again, I'm a very simple-minded man, and we're making amazing discoveries here. So what we've determined so far, right, that we said electrolytes in the right proportion are life, period.
Right on.
We learned that. So now you have this physiologist, amazing man, René Quinton, who goes in the middle of the ocean between Spain and France and finds this amazing plankton where almost it has all the elements of life.
Correct.
Not only all the elements, but as you were saying, the zooplankton, the phytoplankton that makes biological molecules like DNA, RNA, all this soup. So that water from that sea plankton is the secret broth
It
that
is the
makes life
secret broth.
amazing. So what we've discovered, and then what this man has discovered since 1897, and he used it as a medicine because he found the secret broth that started life from
And you
way
can't
back.
dehydrate it and make it alive again.
So I think that's a great point because we're talking about all this, and I think the viewers are saying, yes, electrolytes are important. Now, there are other ways that I can take it. I could dehydrate, just drink salt. We're going to talk about Celtic salt.
Right.
I can take the powder. You know, there are so many companies doing electrolyte powder. Or even like as you were saying, Quinton tried to dehydrate his salt to try to see how that works. So now we've established the importance. Tell me about the other ways of supplementing electrolytes. What do you think about them? How do they compare to Quinton?
I mean, starting with Celtic.
Let's start with Celtic
Okay,
salt.
Celtic sea salt was founded by Jacques de Langres, and Jacques de Langres was actually a student, not directly. He didn't attend René Quinton's classes, but he was a student. He studied passionately the life and what René Quinton brought to physiology and health and so on. And he wrote the first articles in English about René Quinton before anyone else.
And that's the inventor of Celtic salt, the one who brought Celtic salt.
The inventor. And so he said, you know what? At the time, Quinton was mostly a medicine. And he said, how can I bring this brilliant idea of supplying the electrolytes to everybody to the masses? Laboratories, Quinton couldn't even make it for the masses.
Because it was considered medicine.
It was sold to hospitals and so on.
Correct.
And so he said, I'm going to do the best. I'm going to study how I can dehydrate ocean salt and because normally ocean salt, when you buy it from a supermarket, regular ocean salt, in the process of dehydrating it, evaporating the water and cleaning it, you end up with almost nothing. It all gets rinsed away in the cleaning process. And he said, I have to improve this. And he did. So if you look at Celtic sea salt, it simply contains 70 plus elements, but in extremely small amounts. Okay?
And in not proportional amounts.
Not
In proportionate, like
Correct.
in perfect structure amounts.
but from a true biochemistry medical perspective, it has lost what the water brings in combination with the elements. That is the magic.
So it's better
Celtic
than
salt
nothing.
isn't going to be a medicine for cholera or tuberculosis ever, okay?
right.
But is it better than nothing? Does it give you some of the elements your body? For people around the world, fantastic, okay?
Better than
nothing. Your lives will be better somehow,
Right.
especially because anyone can buy it. Now we have an option. There's another excellent salt, again, not Quinton, Baja Gold, excellent array of minerals. Not a lot, but better than nothing. What I recommend you do stay away from is that I am not a fan of removing water and even in a watery solution from the Great Salt Lake, also known as the Inland Sea in Utah. Okay, this is a lifeless body of water with high levels of contaminants in them. They do not give you their product with those contaminants. They have to deal with that somehow. But there is nothing living in it but brine shrimp, and very few of them can survive. So I do not recommend the Trace Minerals Research brand, okay? And there are other seawaters made from Australia and so on. What isn't so great about them? Virtually all other liquid seawaters change the concentration and get rid of the most prevalent electrolyte in our body, and they reduce the sodium. They think reduced sodium is a big deal, okay? Well, you couldn't heal anybody with seawater with reduced sodium. But it has an appeal, better than nothing, okay? But not, I mean, these are go-karts compared to a Formula One
I like that.
Quinton, okay?
I like that. I
I
like
mean,
that.
This
That's a great
is
picture.
the best.
I like that.
And again, for us, we always preach biochemical excellence. We're biohackers who are trying to get
Correct.
the most out of our
Well, just
physical
think,
body.
this product that was from 1897 didn't even come to the United States until the 1990s.
Wow.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
They couldn't make enough for the market. It did come, because this is fairly interesting, in 1908, the first shipment of Quinton came to cure childhood tuberculosis in the 3 children's hospitals.
That's incredible.
Okay?
Yeah.
So it was used then, and then World War I came, boom, gone, goodbye. And the rest of this history didn't come back until the 1990s.
So a mini recap, because we pound, and just to kind of echo what you were saying, Rudy, we pride ourselves in, telling our viewers and our patients, like, we spend a lot of money, research time, obviously with you. Miguel has spent countless hours researching the product, and, to bring our patients the best, right? What do we think are the best? So to kind of recap, I mean, when you're talking about electrolytes, which most are made from the Great Salt Lake. A lot of companies make their electrolyte products from the Great Salt Lake, which is what we talked about. Not a good source to get your electrolytes, and also not in the right amounts. Like you said, it's like a go-kart in comparison to Formula One. Now, is Celtic salt better than nothing? Sure, but again, we are talking about the greatest electrolyte product made, because it was actually, it's so potent that it's actually considered medicine to cure diseases, not just from performance enhancer. Correct?
Now, and even less than the Celtic and the other sea salts on the market, I rate Himalayan pinks, Himalayan salts, all the pink salts. It's a very crazy business, a lot of fraud going on from my perspective, and I give it a thumbs down.
Okay.
Why? The variety of elements in Himalayan salt. It not only it's not a sea salt at all.
Right.
It's from a mine, and the pretty red rose color, if you will, it's iron. We don't need extra iron.
We don't.
Okay, all right. That's the other thing. But it just lacks the variety of the elements.
So best bang for your buck, Quinton.
So again,
Absolutely.
really quick, like, this is great for us biohackers who are really trying to get the best out of our physical body. We've established electrolytes are really important. If you're going to go with electrolytes, and I think, the market has known this, like when you think of Gatorade, I went to University of Florida where they invented Gatorade.
wow.
They were the first beverage company that added salt, sodium chloride, to really help their athletes recover. And it made a boom. When you look at the industry, there are so many powdered electrolyte supplements now.
Oh my God,
Celtic
yes.
salt is having its moment. Himalayan salt had its moments. So I think in the consciousness, overall people are realizing we need electrolytes. We've established this. What we're trying to do here, it's what's the best way to replenish your electrolytes.
Well, I think
Well,
that-
this is so unparalleled. I mean, there's nothing close to this. There's no other electrolyte that has been a true medicine
True medicine.
for the cure of disease for nearly a century. I mean, none.
This
And
is
really
Robert.
quick-
This is Robert. What I call, first of all, what we try to tell clients is, consume a product that's denatured, meaning the less processing involved, the better. And this product is literally the fluids from the ocean, as
Correct.
we've already established.
Correct.
But more than anything, I said, if God had a an electrolyte, it would be this
Quinton.
product.
God's
It would be
Gatorade.
God's
God's
Gatorade is what we call it to clients.
Absolutely.
Gatorade is trademarked, by
Yeah.
the way, but it's God's Gatorade.
Or let's just make sure of God's a sports drink. Let's just put it that way.
So one question that I get a lot from patients is, who needs to take electrolytes? A lot of people have the misconception that it's only when I sweat or that I exert
Great
myself
point.
and that I need the electrolytes. If not, my body can take it. Let's talk about this, that everybody needs a base. And if you exert yourself, you really do a lot of exercise, you need even more.